Wednesday night when we're away from each other and we're doing everything online, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, we're trying to stay safe, but we're looking forward to the time when we get back together. But during this time, we want to be spending time with each other, and maybe families are able to spend a little more time together, but there may be some that are actually spending more time doing nothing or being bored or something like that, where they're not spending as much time being productive. And that can have a negative effect on a person. A person that is not engaged in doing something can find themselves in trouble. And I hope that that's really not going to be the case for anybody that's watching this, but in case it is, we need to think about some things in Luke chapter 11. In Luke chapter 11, in verse 14 and following, it says, "And he was casting out a demon that was dumb, and it came to pass, when the demon was gone out, the dumb man spake, and the multitudes marveled. But some of them said, By Beelzebub, the prince of the demons, casteth he out demons. And others, trying him, sought of him a sign from heaven. But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided against a house falleth. And if Satan also is divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? Because ye say that I cast out demons by Beelzebub. And if I by Beelzebub cast out demons, by whom do your sons cast them out? Therefore shall they be your judges. But if I by the finger of God cast out demons, then is the kingdom of God come upon you. When the strong man fully armed guardeth his own court, his goods are in peace. But when a stronger than he shall come upon him and overcome him, he taketh from his whole armor, wherein he trusted, and divideth his spoils. He that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth. The unclean spirit, when he is gone out of the man, passeth through waterless places, seeking rest, and finding none. He saith, I will turn back unto my house whence I came. And when he is come, he findeth it swept and garnished. Then goeth he and taketh to him 7 other spirits more evil than himself, and they enter in and dwell there, and the last state of that man becometh worse than the first. And so I want to mention a couple of things here. Number one, of course, he's being accused. Jesus has cast out demons, and this the people say, well, he's doing this by Beelzebub. He's doing this from Satan. Satan is who is casting these demons out, and of course he very readily puts that down and says, look, a house divided against itself is going to fall. That's not what's going on here. Obviously, I'm not, logically speaking, I'm not doing that. But then he goes on to say this, because in the context of casting out the demon, there's another thing that is said here. When he casts out the demon, the demon goes off. And then it says this, that it comes back after a while. It goes around, and I guess it's bored, and it comes back and finds, well, here it is, this body that I once inhabited, this soul, is, it's swept, it's garnished, it's clean. This is nicer than it was before. And so, man, I'm going to go back. Matter of fact, I'm going to go get my friends, and we're all going to come here. And, of course, the end of that is that, the state of that person was worse than the first. Now, I want to make mention of something, and that is this. It's a very simple thing, and that is that we need to make sure that when we get bad things out of our life, that we replace it with something good. This is something that's often talked about when people are having to be counseled when it comes to like a drug addiction. They have to get rid of something, and they have to replace it with something else. Now, a lot of times, unfortunately, for those people, they're taught that they need to have another chemical. And so maybe someone who smokes goes to caffeine and replaces smoking with caffeine. Somebody might have an addiction to something else, and maybe it's worse. Maybe it's cocaine or something else, and they end up smoking instead of doing that. Now, whatever the case, they take a what is thought of as a less harmful substance than what they were taking, and actually they end up choosing their addiction. Now, we could do that in a better way. If we were to take this same thought process, we could really say, look, I'm going to take all this bad stuff out of my life, and instead of just taking it out and leaving it alone and not doing anything else, we need to replace that with something good. And so, yeah, if we do have friends that are leading us astray or they're not good examples, then what should we do? We should go find new friends. We should find friends that are good for us. If we find ourselves in situations where we are tempted to sin, well, what should we do? We should replace those scenarios with other things. And so while we are staying at home at this time, and by and large not doing as much as maybe we had been doing before, then we need to keep these things in mind. Yeah, we need to replace our time with things, to keep ourselves out of trouble. And that's just a very simple thing that we should remember throughout our lives, that we need to replace bad things with good things. And sometimes we need to replace just downtime with something that is constructive. And so while there is a lot of downtime right now, we need to be productive people. And I think that one of the best ways that we could do that is by dedicating our time to our God. And so again, we have a Bible class in Job is going to be in the group, and we will also have it on YouTube. So if you know of someone that does not have Facebook that would benefit from Job being on YouTube, then go ahead and pass that along. We're just trying to keep up with things while we're away and not get too far behind. Of course, as I've mentioned before, we're pretty much only able to do an overview of going verse by verse. We're not able to dig as deep as I'd love to on Job, but we will have some notes for everybody when we get back to normal. So I hope you're having a good week. I hope you're staying safe and you're healthy, and I hope that we can all be together very soon.